in your metadata, which is your description, your title, those keywords, because those were key in all the search engines. But nowadays, every time that you are engaging people on a platform of any kind, you are creating a link or a connection to you that will hopefully lead back to your website. Number 4, the use to social media is incredible a tool in building your list. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it's about all the people you can gain and put in that list. The person with the biggest list wins. Stephen will say it again later. Certain things will pop up several times in the next 2 days, and it's because we're really seeing trends from our own clients in the last 5 years or 10 years or 15 years that we want to pass on to you. And one of those things is how social media has really changed and how it can affect you and your business. We think of 2 things. One is content marketing is really the marathon. That will end up building your expertise. You have pages and pages of content going out through distribution channels on social media. But reputation marketing coupled with content marketing, that's really the sprint. That's a faster way for you to affect the search engine on Google, on Avo, or on any of the other search engines. Even LinkedIn and Facebook would be considered search engines. Now, you connect with potential leads through social media. This is a little funnel we've put together, so you can see all the different social media platforms up top. They hopefully will connect and go through to your website, and then you're able to actually control the information. You can measure and improve what you see on your website. You hopefully have some calls to action. Maybe you're gathering information from them through a contact form. Maybe you're offering them a freemium or a free item that they can then in turn give you their contact information, and hopefully you're using that to build that list. But you can also use that in all of your drip campaigns where they can then reach out and mention something that's going on, a personal event or an event that's going on that month. Somehow you want to reach to them enough to get them to make that final decision to sign you up as a client. So it's all about that. Now, you may be thinking, does social media work? The real question, and it's one of those things where we know it works. We have done, there's research after research, there's a ton of different surveys and proof out there that shows that it works. It's not about does it work or not. The real question is, which platform is right for me? Now, I mentioned Twitter. And you may be thinking Twitter is important. It's something that's really bounced around, but that's really a public relations platform. It's really grown to something that is fantastic for celebrities and for high people with a lot of fans. They did a survey recently. HubSpot did this survey, and they simply asked a question for about 400 different U.S.-based small businesses. And they asked the question, how many of you have gained a client from social media, just one client, and which platforms did you gain that client from? 4 platforms popped up as the top 4. Twitter, of course, number 4. We also have Facebook, LinkedIn, and the company blog. Those are the ones that popped up. Now, for the business-to-business attorneys, we have a different stat. We said that yesterday there was 2 business-to-business attorneys in here. If you looked at these numbers, what would be the top platform for business to business? Be LinkedIn. LinkedIn had 45%. The number 2 would be the company blog. Number 3 would be Twitter, and number 4 would be Facebook. Now, does that mean that if you have a business to business law firm that you wouldn't want to use Facebook? No, because it means that 33% of them still retained a client using Facebook. And so it's still good for them to have and be visible on Facebook. For business to consumer law firms, number 1 would be, which one? Facebook, with 68%. Now that's a bigger jump because Facebook is very, very consumer oriented. Number 2, company blog, again. Number 3 would be Twitter. and LinkedIn would be the fourth one. Now does that mean as a business to consumer attorney I wouldn't want to use LinkedIn? I still would, but you may be thinking of it differently. It may be a place for you to gain a referral partner. Adam talked a lot about referral partners, and I'm going to show you how LinkedIn can be an excellent place for you to get referral partners. So don't just think of it as a place to mine for clients. Now, and I will tell you this right up front, we do not believe you can have a proper roadmap to finding success online without having a company blog. Company blog would be first. It's all about putting out that content. My brother said it this way, and I really like this, so I'm going to use it again. He said that 10 years ago, in order to become the expert in your field or be known as the expert in your field, you had to write the book on the subject. Kind of heard that over and over. Nowadays, you have to write the blog on the subject. And all we mean by that is you're putting out regular and consistent content. Different content. You cannot have content that is just cut and paste from other sources. That will actually hurt you in all the search engines. If you're putting out your own content as the expert in your field, though, people are looking because of that content naturally, but it also gives you a boost in Google and all the search engines because that content is of good quality point of reference. So, for example, if anyone shares you or likes you, they're actually validating to Google that that is a great source of content, a great source of information, and you are a valid source for that information. And so you're actually getting two different sources from it, not just direct traffic. Now, when we look at this, if you think of it as a puzzle, sorry.
Donovan, is there a difference between video blogs and written blogs in your experience? Which is more
it's actually good right now, especially to do both. A video gives you something on your website that is instantly attractive. Motion, it's like motion pictures. That's why motion is part of that, because people love to see things. They want to see you in action. A picture doesn't necessarily do us justice. When they see you and talk and interact, and you're actually, even with commercials and things like that, you'll see that engagement factor. People will retain they'll be on your website a lot longer, and they'll actually start to interact with all the different buttons. It's like going to a museum. You see all the different buttons. My brother and I used to go to the Dinosaur Museum in California, and we really didn't look at the dinosaurs. We were looking at all the buttons. It's all about, ooh, let's press this button. Let's see what this happens. Let's see what this does. The same thing happens, though, when we start to give out the same kind of content on a regular basis. If you're giving out content and every single link goes directly to the same exact spot, you're teaching people to stop reading and looking at your content. If you want it to do the best strategy possible, it's good to point them to different places, point them to different landing pages, different parts of your website, give out different information. Go to maybe to your Facebook, cross-match everything. Now, obviously, everything eventually we want to go to your website so you can gather that contact information, but in different ways. Video content is still really, really good right now, especially knowing that people are looking at stuff more on their phones and their tablets than ever before. And so video content is actually becoming crucial to making a dent. So thank you, good question. Now the thing about this is if anyone's ever tried to put together a puzzle, it's really hard if you didn't have the cover to look at. If you didn't have the cover to look at, you're kind of fumbling here and there. It takes you, you may be able to do it, you may be able to fumble your way through it, but it's very hard. And so this, we put together what we call our social media blueprint, the Rainmaker social media blueprint, as a way for you to see the cover. This is our cover for that puzzle. We want you to go ahead and have the blog at the very top and obviously filter down to the different platforms of social media. We want you to use as many platforms as possible. LinkedIn, Avo, Twitter, Facebook, of course, and so on. Eventually, we want them all to get to your website, and we want them to find some way to gather their information. Either a freemium or some kind of a contact us page where they can give you their contact information. You can add them to your list. You can even do drip marketing at that point. You can stay in touch with them through newsletters like Adam had said. but some way that we want